This is the Gran Turismo cranks, which are specifically made for us. They're fully manufactured to our designs. Conrods are stamped with our name. Every single component is new to scootering, so there's no components that are lifted off other motorbikes or other scooters. So the webs are our own forging, the injection mouldings are our own tooling, and the conrod is our own forging. And it's all custom to ours. This particular one is a 62 stroke, which has an eccentric pin. So you can see the pin center is slightly off. These have been now running for a year in a 28 brake horsepower motor and haven't had any problems. We also have a fixturing pin here, which also makes sure that we align the eccentric pin in the correct orientation so you get your 62 stroke. Fully flowed crank. So we have a plastic stuffer, a nylon stuffer, which is glass reinforced, but this stuffer is also hollow. So in order to get the mass offset that we needed, the maximum mass offset that we needed for the crank, we needed to lighten as much as possible this side of the crank, and while keeping the other side of the crank as heavy as we could. And that's why everything is produced the way that it is. So it's as smooth as possible, no pockets for turbulence. The rod length is 110 mil. It's 110 mil for a couple of reasons. Firstly, we don't do a 58 stroke crank, we only do 60 and we do 62. So the small end of the conrod is based on 18 millimeters. So we just pop that together. Okay, 18 millimeter pin. And then if you want to then go to 16 millimeter pin, you pop in the conversion bearing, 16 millimeter pin. Old Ray Kemp, bless him, has made the TS pistons 20 millimeters inside. So what we've done is we've got the same bearing also made 20 millimeters wide. So that will then allow you to use the same crank and the same small end conversion bearing for any TS1 piston or any piston that's 20 millimeters wide inside. Typically Jap pistons are a little bit wider, so there is the 22 millimeter wide version. So this special bearing is available in two widths, 22, 20.
Is there a big weight difference between that and a... There
is actually. The weight difference on the heavy piston is 20 grams, and on a standard it's about 17.
Right.
So there's about a 3 gram difference.
What features have you done to stop cranks twisting?
The cranks are a tighter fit than normal. We use an adhesive in the pressed assembly, and we also have got slightly larger on the web by a fraction of a millimeter. And we also don't have a chamfer on the web, we have a radius on the web. The chamfer on the edge there, by having a radius we get a little bit more metal in there, which just helps the interference fit. And of course we're also dealing with a very high specification crank material as well. You're going to ask me what it is and I'm going to tell you, mind your own business.